Sleep paralysis is a phenomenon where a person wakes up to find themselves unable to move or speak. It is commonly accompanied by feelings that someone or something is in the room with them, or actually seeing or hearing something, as well as the feeling of pressure on the chest and other physical sensations. Not much is known about this condition, despite all the testing that has gone into it, but what is known is enough to keep you up at night. It is speculated that sleep paralysis is the explanation for why some people believe they've been abducted by aliens. A small study was performed to test the link between people who claim to have been abducted and sleep paralysis. The conclusion, to quote, "People rely on personally plausible cultural narratives to interpret these otherwise baffling sleep paralysis episodes." There is a sleep position that makes you more susceptible to sleep paralysis. According to the PPA, or Periodic Paralysis Association, in their Prevention and Treatment section, it states, "Sleep paralysis and sleep-related hallucinations occur predominantly in the supine position, aka sleeping on your back. Therefore, people suffering from sleep paralysis should try to avoid the supine sleeping position. However, most subjects find themselves in the supine position during sleep paralysis regardless of their usual preferred sleeping position." Worldwide, most sleep paralysis incidents involved a humanoid figure of sorts. In 2014, it was indicated that among those who experienced this humanoid bedroom intruder, those that were afraid of it tended to have longer periods of sleep paralysis than those that didn't. Sleep paralysis has been displayed in various forms of art throughout history, including sculptures, paintings, and others, and they often depict the same thing: a demon sitting on the chest of a sleeping victim. There are two types of sleep paralysis: ISP and RISP. Isolated sleep paralysis, or ISP, is the most common variation of sleep paralysis. This is where the subject rarely experiences an episode, with the total sleep paralysis count being as low as 1 or 2 times in their whole lifetime. Although ISP is the most common form, recurrent ISP, or RISP, is a rarer variant of sleep paralysis characterized by frequent episodes or a complex of sequel episodes whose total duration may exceed 1 hour, and particularly by the range and sense of perceived reality of the subjective phenomena experienced during episodes. Although such phenomena are usually categorized as hypnopompic hallucinations, there is, at present, no integrated model that adequately explains the ensemble of psychological, neurological, cognitive, and psychological components of RISP. This next one is bizarre and hilarious at the same time. Some scientists in the 1940s theorized that sleep paralysis might be implicated of fighting against latent homosexuality. Yes, the idea was that the paralyzed individual is fighting their natural urge to be gay when they wake up or think about being attracted to men. We've come a long way in the field of science since then. Thank goodness. A nightmare is just a bad dream, right? But that's not what nightmare originally meant. 150 years ago, it meant night fiend or night incubus. It referred to entities that would come into your room, sit on your chest, paralyze you, and crush the breath out of you. In short, nightmare used to mean sleep paralysis, not a bad dream. So, it's well known that during sleep paralysis, you tend to hallucinate creatures and figures. Well, there are a number of historical demons and creatures from all over the world that directly match the symptoms of sleep paralysis. A commonly known one is the legend of the Old Hag, which is so associated with sleep paralysis that some refer to the condition as Old Hag syndrome. A notable similar creature is the Alp from German folklore, that is a little demon that wears a hat. Alps are male and usually visit women in their sleep. The Alp will sit on a victim's chest, slowly crushing down on them until they're unable to move and have difficulty breathing. They're also described as drinking blood from the victim's nipples. They're also able to shapeshift and become invisible due to the magic in their hats. Speaking of the Alp, the next fact is going to tie together two of the facts on this list into a neat little bow. The female version of the Alp is the Mare, which behaves much in the same way. However, the Mare also rides horses and can even ride trees. During sleep, mares are described as riding their victims. The Mare is how we got our name for nightmare, which, again, traditionally seem to refer to sleep paralysis and not just bad dreams. And lastly, stress, depression, certain medication, genetics and many more variables have been linked to sleep paralysis, but there is no clear cause of the condition. Sleep paralysis is a natural occurrence that is yet to be explained. So, every time you go to sleep, there's some risk of you falling into or waking up in sleep paralysis. Anyway, if you learned something new, leave a like, I'm curious. And if you want to see another horror top 10, click here for my top 10 Japanese horror movies.